Sorry.
The girls aren't going back in.
I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't want to keep everybody waiting. What's up, everybody?
I'm Mina.
Mina?
Mina.
Guys, please welcome Mina.
I'm going to start out with something that you actually are not going to know. You were in the Talking Walking Dead panel last night.
The Talking Walking Dead?
Yeah.
What's that?
Grab the microphone.
Microphone. Together and talk about you.
Oh, wow.
So for about an hour last night, you were in topical conversation for about 350 of the however many hundreds of people we've got out.
Team Shane!
Rock and roll, man.
Microphone!
Microphone!
We can't hear you.
Before I finish,
Oh, I thought you were yelling at me. I'm like, I'm talking on the microphone, dude.
you're dead.
Thank you, brother.
We do have interpreters up here for the hard of hearing, so that's what she's doing. And also later, when he gets to the point with questions, there is a microphone over here for all of you. And there is a moderator there that will be screening those questions.
Cool.
Last night at the Talking Walking Dead panel, they decided that what Rick should have done was kill Lori and keep Shane. My question is, what do you think he should have done?
What do I think Rick should have done? Keep the bromance. You know, I think that he did. I think he did what he had to do. I think that you know, there was a lot of discussion and there was a lot of arguments back and forth between myself and Andy, kind of on one side, and the writers on the other, about how the season should end for Shane, how The Walking Dead should end for Shane. I think because it got, you know, we did sort of verge off the comic a little bit. You know, it was open a little bit for interpretation. You know, look, I really look at. I really think that Shane brought Rick out into the woods to make him take this final step. I think that, you know, there was an alternate, I can't speak today for some freaking reason. There's an alternate ending that I pitched, and we almost got, but we didn't get it, which, if you want to hear it, I'll tell you. I'm going to be in trouble because I keep, anyways, I'm on the show now, so.
Do what you want.
So the idea that we had was, and I think in a pretty cool way, ended up kind of playing a little bit, but the idea that we pitched is that everything happened the exact same way, but when Rick and Shane, as soon as Shane talks to Lori and she tells him thank you, that's sort of everything that Shane wanted to hear from Lori by the windmill there, and then, but Shane still knows that he's got to get rid of this prisoner, Randall, to keep Carl and Lori and his unborn baby safe. So, so he's got to kill this prisoner. So he takes the prisoner out of the woods, he snaps his neck, he comes back, same exact thing that happened in the show. And you know, when I'm telling you this story, it's like I pitch it to the writers, so you got to make as few changes as possible because you don't want them to have to do too much. But so you keep it the exact same way, and then when Shane comes back and says the prisoner escaped, he and Rick go looking for the prisoner, the same thing that happened. Shane and Rick are looking in the woods for the prisoner. All of a sudden, Shane stops. Rick says, "Why are you stopping? We got to find the prisoner." Same as what happened in the show. And Shane says, "No, we don't. I killed the prisoner. I snapped his neck. That's what you should have done." And Rick says, "What are you talking about?" And Shane draws his gun, same as in the show, points his gun at Rick. He says, "Come on, be a man, you know, I'm right here, let's fight for Lori, let's fight for Carl, I'm the father," all that kind of stuff. And as in the show, Rick takes his gun and says, "I'm not gonna fight you, man, you're my brother, I'm not gonna go there." And this is the first change. Instead of holding his gun out he says, hey, look, you're gonna have to shoot an unarmed man, and he throws his gun. This makes Shane go crazy, so Shane approaches Rick, puts the gun right up to Rick's face and says, you know, you've got a broken boy and a broken woman and a weak boy and all that stuff, and he really pushes to say something disgusting like, I know what your wife tastes like, or something like that, to really push Rick, because he's really gone off the deep end, and he's pushing him, and then as in what happened, Rick stabs old Shane in the stomach, and he falls down on the ground. As Shane starts to reanimate into a zombie, he starts to get up. But now remember, that change I said, Rick is throwing his gun. So when Shane starts to pop up as a zombie, Rick grabs Shane's gun, which is right there, and points it at zombie Shane, as zombie Shane's coming towards Rick. And Rick points a gun at Shane, and it just goes click, click, click. Then out of nowhere, Carl blasts him, and Rick looks at the gun, and he sees that the gun was never loaded. And so Shane brought Rick out of that woods to make him kill him. And see how we're getting kind of a half applause? That's sort of what I got from the writers too. But what's cool about it is I'm glad they did it the way they did, because I think that all of that was sort of incorporated, and I really believe that Shane really didn't have it in him to kill Rick and to take Carl's father from him and take Lori's husband from him, and I think, you know, Shane got so far gone that there was a part of him that knew that he was really kind of becoming a cancer for the group, and he had to be taken out. And I don't think you point a gun at Rick Grimes unless you're ready to use it. So, you know, anyway, that's my alternate ending.
We'll go ahead and start with questions from the audience.
Right on.
I have a question for Sean about how was it like working with all the zombies?
How is it working with the zombies? Oh man, look, I hate zombies, man. I'll be honest with you. I don't want you to think I'm like some douchey method actor, but like I spent so long running from them and trying to kill them that I think I just sort of ended up really hating them. I love the people that play zombies. You know, they're great actors and they work really hard, and you know, it's the show would not be the show if it weren't for the level of amazing talent from Greg Nicotero and the staff that make the zombies, and the performers that play them. They're unbelievably committed, and it's kind of cool, you know, sitting there and eating lunch with a bunch of zombies. You know what I mean? So I love those guys, but I hate zombies.
Next question.
How did you like playing the badass on Walking Dead?
You know, man, it was cool. You know, he's a great character, and an honor to play him. You know, I love that role. I wanted desperately to play that part. You know, I'm relatively new as an actor, and it was the first year. It was the first year for me where I turned down other shows that I got because I hadn't been able to audition for The Walking Dead, which is a pretty stupid risk as an actor. I would not suggest that if you're going into the field. But I told my agents that, you know, I had to try for this show because I had never read anything like it, and I'm glad that I did. So it was an honor to play him. And I think what's so cool about that show is everyone there realizes how lucky they are to be there. There's no jerks on that show, and everybody realizes how special a story it is, and it was the honor of my career so far to play Shane, and I loved it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Reading comic books? Well, what happened was, you know, like I said, I wanted desperately to be in this show, but I had not read the comic books, and then I fought to get that part, you know, like 6 auditions and kept fighting, and I kept hearing, yeah, maybe, then I finally got it. And I said, oh, by the way, it's based on this comic book. Hand me the comic book. I went home, cracked that sucker open, and I'm like, oh my God. Like, it was just good, you know, by the time it was like, you know, it was like I ate like 1 sandwich. By the time the sandwich was done, he was dead, you know what I mean? So, but I'm glad that they decided to let him stick around a little bit longer.
Oh, and for the walking-talking date we did last night, they decided to keep Lori around as a breeder.
As a breeder.
You were popular.
Wow.
And then my question was, for season 2, when Shane starts losing his mind.
Yeah.
Did you decide, or did everyone else decide for you to shave off your head after the incident?
You know, it was something that Frank and I, Frank Darabont, the original, you know, the creator of the show, we said from the beginning. You know, when I first auditioned for the show, I was like a, you know, long-haired hippie, man. I used to have hair down to here, and I was auditioning for the show like that. And I remember at the screen test, Frank was like, "Oh wow, we could have used that on the, like, I wish I had shot that. We could have used that take." And except then I would have killed myself for hiring a beach pirate as Shane, because, like, you know, I had this like long crazy hair, and that's just, you know, kind of how I roll, you know. But you know, when we were trying to decide how he was gonna look, I was like, "Oh, let's shave his head. Let's make him, you know, super badass with the, you know." And Frank was like, "You know what, let's work to that." And so I think right from the beginning, he sort of saw that there'd be an evolution, and it's really cool as an actor when you get to go through a change, and then they give you the opportunity to not only change internally, but make a physical change, and a haircut's a really easy way to do that. So it was, I was really psyched for it, and it was a real way of kind of like cementing the final change that's going on in this guy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John, my name is Sean. We actually had breakfast together a year and a half ago when you were at the amazing Comicon.
Oh, right on, man.
Right on, like I had breakfast.
We had breakfast together?
Right, me, you, Melissa, and Robert. And
Oh, very cool, man. Very cool, right on.
And I guess the question that I had for you is, what are some of the subtle differences between working with Frank and working with Greg once you kind of took over?
With Glenn?
With Greg Nicotero.
Oh, the differences between working with
Darabont, and then once all of a sudden he was...
Well, Greg's not, you know, Greg didn't take Frank's place. Glenn did. Glenn was talking. Yeah, so are you asking about Frank and Glenn?
Yeah, yes.
The subtle differences. Shoot, man. Man, could this question get me in trouble? Look, man, I only know how to be. You know, here's the thing. You know, I think that you know, Frank Darabont. Look, he wrote and directed Shawshank Redemption. He you know, he wrote and directed the Green Mile. You know, The Mist. You know, he's Frank Darabont is you know, I mean, I think he's one of the best. He's one of the best filmmakers and writers our country has. I think I think that, you know, Frank brought everyone that is on the television show The Walking Dead to The Walking Dead. So I think that, you know, it's really, especially with television, you know, the creator, the showrunner, is really the entire kind of, it's such a lame word, but like the flavor of the show, like everything, from the music to the look to the cast to the way the thing is shot, to the kind of film you shoot on, to the way the zombies look, that all kind of comes down to the taste of one man. So this one guy kind of created this. So I think, you know, I think with Glenn, Glenn's awesome. I mean, he is a great showrunner in his own right. But I think what he's really trying to do is maintain the integrity and quality that Frank brought to the show. It was a huge blow to everybody to lose Frank, and I think one of the main things that Glenn had to do coming on was to sort of keep everybody together, keep everybody's spirits up, because, you know, again, man, you know, it's like everybody signed on to do this show with Frank, and you know, he's one of the best. So then, you know, when we lost him, it was, you know, there's a lot of bad feelings surrounding that. But I think the show is in great shape, and I think they're moving forward beautifully. And you know, look, I'm doing Frank's new show. That's what I'm doing now. You know, and he's my boss, and I love him. You know, but thank you. I know I still talk to the guys down in Georgia. It's unbelievable because, like, Jeff Kaman, you know, played Dale. He was the man. You know, he's Jeff Kaman. He came on to do Frank's new show with me. Andy Rothenberg, who played Jim in The Walking Dead, he came on to do it with me. A lot of the crew members from The Walking Dead came on to do LA Noire with Frank as well. So it's really kind of like this big family with obviously this huge fracture in the middle, but I've been talking to the guys down in Georgia. I talk to Andy Lincoln all the time, Sarah, Norman Reedus, Steve Young, like all that, they're my family, and I'm gonna love them forever. And things are going great down there, and they're having a great time, and season 3 is gonna be badass.
Awesome.
Good.
Thank you.
Go on, man.
Hi. So there's one scene, I forget which episode it is, but it's actually, 2 scenes. There's a sort of semi-beautiful artistic scene with this zombie in a suit walking through his head.
How cool is that, right?
Yeah, so what's going through Shane's, like, is there something that clicks with him in that moment? Like, how did that scene come about? Like,
it's funny. They ended up using that. They ended up, there was a scene from the very first episode of the very first episode of season 2 never got aired. And what they did is they ended up using about a quarter of it and then combining it with episode 2, and they made that premiere an hour and a half. So we ended up actually shooting 14 episodes this year, but only airing 13. So what they did was, in the very beginning of season 1, which is something that never aired, that you never saw, was it picked up right when we were leaving the CDC from last year. So the thing was blowing up, and we were all leaving, and we were pulling out in our caravan, and Shane was in the back in his little Jeep, and the Jeep actually runs out of gas. And there's this shot of everybody kind of leaving, and he starts hitting his horn, he starts screaming like, Rick, and they all just left Shane's ass there. So I was like, good, and that's how the season started. So Shane, as he's screaming and screaming, what does screaming do? It attracts zombies. He looks behind him, and there was like 300 zombies all coming up to the Jeep. So Shane looks around, he grabs a shotgun, and he just starts running. And this was going to be the opening of season 2. So these zombies were chasing me down the road, and what sucked was it was about 103 degrees that day, and I had to run from zombies the whole time, and I had to keep on falling and getting up, because what was discovered in that is that zombies never get tired. So the whole thing was that I was running for miles and miles and miles, but these zombies kept their pace, and slowly they were gaining on me, and I kept falling and getting up. And right when they were about to get on me, I turned around and I started blasting them, and then I ran out of bullets, and they were about to get me, and then all of a sudden, the RV comes slamming through and runs over about 30 zombies, and Rick's there, and he grabs me into the RV, and he saves my life. And that's how season 2 was going to start. We shot that, but it never aired. So what they were going to do with the shot that you're talking about, with me just staring off, was because it was right after he came back and rescued me when I was in the school bus. So there was a scene that we shot that they were going to end up airing in that episode that you're talking about, in place of me looking at the guy in the field, which was going to be a flashback to the day where he saved me in the RV. And I said to him, thanks for saving me, brother. And he says, I'll never leave you behind. And they ended up not using that. I don't know why, but they didn't. And so I think what that was supposed to, so the lone zombie, I think, was, the way, what was going through my head when we actually shot it was really just, kind of like it was just to like kind of look at the hopelessness of this world, and I think the kind of loneliness of Shane's character. I mean, that's sort of the key of who this guy is, at least to me. And I'm just rambling, aren't I? I apologize for that. But I mean, for me, that's kind of the key with Shane is he's an unbelievably lonely guy, because I think there's 2 kinds of loneliness in this world. There's the loneliness that you suffer when you're really far away from the people you love, but there's another kind of loneliness when the people you love are right there with you, but you can't be with them the way you want to. And I think we all know that kind of loneliness, and I think that's the kind of loneliness that can drive you to do unbelievably wonderful things, like go and shoot old Otis and save a little boy's life, or it can drive you to doing pretty awful, crazy things, and I think that's eventually what happened with Shane.
Thank you. That's good.
Bravo. Okay.
When you're on the show, who's your favorite person to work with?
Wow. There's so many. Shoot, that's a great question, bud. I really love them all, and in different ways. Andy Lincoln is like my partner, man. I love that guy. I love him so much, and he's as good a guy as he is an actor. You know, Sarah Wayne Callies is wonderful. Wonderful. You know, Norman's my man. I love them all, you know. I really love them all. Jeff Tamun is just incredible. It was pretty weird. We're shooting LA Noir right now, and it was pretty cool being in. Thank you. It was pretty cool being in a scene with him, and all of a sudden I was like, "What's up, Dale?" He's like, "Shut up, Shane." So it's pretty. I love working with him too, but I like them all, man. I really do. We really, again, got lucky on this job. Everybody's really game. I remember when Norman Reedus' first day on set was in season 1 when he showed up and like threw the squirrels at Rick, and I had to like wrestle his ass down. And, you know, we hadn't met yet. We met and we were about to wrestle, and I was like, "Hey man, I'm gonna really grab you." He's like, "Cool." He's like, "Grab away, dude." And I was like, "My man." Okay. And then we really, he was just game as hell. We're like, "If we're gonna use like, look, if we're gonna fight, let's fight." I said, "Awesome." And you know, that's the kind of actor that's on this show. You know, there's no stunt guys. There's no, you know, we do it all ourselves, and it's you're either that kind of actor or you're the kind of actor who likes to kick it in your trailer, and they don't really make it on our show. So it's cool. I love them all.
Thanks.
Sorry, but I didn't really answer your question, but I appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I don't know if Shane's your favorite character, but who is your favorite character on The Walking Dead and why?
Besides Shane?
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta love Daryl, right?
Yes.
Glenn, Glenn's cool. I love Glenn. But he does like, yeah. He's like Daryl. I think Daryl, you know what I mean? I like Daryl. I like him a lot. I really wish that Shane and I wish that friendship and or that possibility of a relationship was explored a little bit more. Yeah.
What about Lori?
What about Lori? You know, I love her, but in a different way. I mean,
First, I'd like to say that your character was totally my favorite.
Thanks, man.
I never read the comic, but watching the show, I think they should have called it The Walking Dead featuring Shane or something cool like that. Because, but unfortunately, your character died, reanimated, then died again.
He sure did.
That being said, you kind of answered the question that I had already had about if you were working, which I'm glad to hear that you are. You have a new series coming out?
Sure.
What network is that going to be on?
TNT.
Sweet. And cool. Thank you very much. That was it. Is it close to finished on production?
No, we're right in the middle. I mean, next I have this movie called Snitch coming out, which is going to be really cool. It's like me and Dwayne Johnson and Susan Sarandon and
I'll see it.
Yeah, man, you'll dig it. It's a really, really cool movie, and I will say, trying to throw The Rock around is quite different than trying to throw Andy Lincoln around. I'm just out there right now. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Thank you very much for being awesome.
Rock and roll, man. I appreciate you.
The production notes say that it's going to be out sometime in 2013. Early 2013 is when they are announcing it.
Right on.
Hi, I'm Angie, and I'm probably going to ask a question that not everybody, but a few people are probably wondering. Okay. Who do you personally think is the father of Lori's baby?
Shane.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bianca.
Hi.
And as you can see, I'm dressed as Daryl.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry for cursing you. Yeah. You got the squirrels now. Who throws squirrels, by the way? I'm like, this guy's awesome.
And my question is, do you ever get flattered or excited when your fans or any of the Walking Dead fans dress as the characters of The Walking Dead?
Yeah.
Like me?
Yeah. And I saw a few people yesterday had the 22 chain, which I thought was like the coolest thing ever. You know what I mean? And look, you know, I love the show. I'm a huge fan of the show, and again, everybody who's involved with it, everybody who works on that crew, every actor that's there, we all really love the show. I mean, there's nothing like being on a show when you're driving into work, when the Teamsters are driving you, and they've all read the script, and they're like, in that scene, I think you're really being a jerk. Everybody has opinions on it, and everybody is so excited to be there. So, when I see, it's just like, it's so cool that people dig it. I think the Walking Dead fans are like the coolest, smartest, most badass fans in the world. And like, we love it so much, and the fact that there's this passionate, awesome audience for it, and people dress like the characters is just super. It's awesome. It's awesome, and I'll really miss that. Like, I'll really miss not only being the show, but being able to kick it with Walking Dead fans. It's like it's awesome.
All right, thank you.
Right on. Hi.
So in season 2, when you and Otis are running away from a mob of zombies,
Yeah.
and you're gonna shoot Otis. As a person, would you shoot Otis, or would you do anything differently?
Well, you gotta save the boy, right? I mean, you gotta save the kid. You know what I mean? You gotta save the kid. And I mean, look, that's what's so cool about Shane. It's like he does what needs to be done, and it's a zombie apocalypse, man. It's not. I don't think, it's weird. People think I'm freaking nuts, and my mom gets mad at me all the time. So you gotta understand, I take so much crap from my family, Like, my grandmother calls me up, she's like, John, what are you doing? She like rips me apart for the things I do on TV. But I gotta say, I don't know whether it's my job or whether I'm just psychotic and I've like convinced myself, but I don't think there was anything that bad about what he did to poor old Otis. I mean, he said to Otis, he was like, here man, take the bags, go on without me. And Otis was like, I'm not leaving you behind. And Shane's like, dude, we gotta save it. It's not about me, it's about Carl. And then he saw that Otis wasn't gonna do it, so kind of dawns on him like he would make a pretty big meal, you know what I mean? So save me some time, so let's do it, say what? Yeah, but the thing is, if you think about it, if I shot him in the head, he'd just be like, I wanted him to also be like, Otis is like a giant, like, all-you-can-eat buffet. So it's like, what do you want? Like, it's a great advertising, him like screaming, being like, ah! And then all the zombies would come to him. So I thought it was a really smart move, silencing him, So, I don't know, I thought it was a good smart move, and I was impressed with Shane in that. I'm gonna hear it from my grandma.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, bud. But don't shoot anybody, man, and I don't have to. You know what I mean? Hi, Sherriff, how are you?
Good about yourself.
All right.
Well, first, I wanted to say you had made a comment about, how you're not going to be able to hang out with all the Walking Dead people, all the fans.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lie. We're all still going to love you.
Thank you. I hope so. Thank you so much.
I wanted to know, how did you manage to get into such a dark character like Shane?
It's a good. When actors talk about this, they sound so. Look, I really love acting. Like I love it. It kind of saved my life. I was a real troublesome youngster, and I wound up in a lot of trouble, and it really steered me in a different direction. So again, not to sound like a pretentious jerk, but I care about it a lot. So. I hope I'm not too much of a weirdo, but I really kind of dive in all the way. And when I was doing Shane, especially last year, season 2, I lived by myself about an hour and a half away from everyone else in a house in the woods. And, when I left set, I didn't talk to anybody until I got back to set the next day. I tried to make sure I was 100% alone all the time. And, you gotta, again, I sound like a weirdo, but you gotta go to some pretty dark places. And it's the kind of show where everybody there, because everybody knows how lucky they are to be there, everybody really supports kind of going for it. I remember when we were shooting season 1, I remember, we were so new. We had no idea if the show was going to work. If it wasn't going to work, we just knew, like, oh, this is so cool. We're working on this really awesome script down in Georgia. And Andy and I were just kind of getting to know each other, and I had shot a scene, and we were about to do the scene where he wakes up in the hospital and sees he wakes up to Armageddon. And I was going to his trailer to go say goodbye to him because I was done for the day, and I saw him walking around in his underwear. I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but anyway, I saw him walking around in his boxers, in full makeup, and he was just sitting there walking, screaming to, like, ah! Like screaming to himself, just walking in circles. And I was like, I'm going to say goodbye to him tomorrow. You know what I mean? But like right then, I saw, okay, this job, like, you can do that. No one's going to look at you and be like, we have a job to do. No one's going to look at you and be like, oh, that guy's weird. Everybody is kind of like that all the time. Like, let's just get into it. Let's just be in that world and go for it and pretend hard, you know what I mean, as best you can. And it's the only way now I want to work, and I'm so grateful that, like, that environment there kind of fosters that. But yeah, I just went to some really dark places, and instead of, I tried to live there, and shoot, I mean.
You try to impress yourself?
Did I try to what?
You try to make yourself depressed?
I don't know if it's more, I think Shane's got an enormous chip on his shoulder, I think that he feels that he's done that the very act of the most selfless thing, the most loyal thing he's ever done in his life has alienated him to the point it made him so lonely. It's because he tried to do such a wonderful thing for his friend has made him now in this place where he's alone, and it's forced him to do things that he hates that he's done. He hates who he's become, but he totally did it for his friend, and now his freaking friend is back, and it's like, everything's gotten all twisted. So I don't think it's about depression. I think there's like a lot of rage, there's a lot of regret, and there's a lot of making up excuses in your head, and a lot of loneliness,
Well, congrats on your new show.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Hi, Jon.
Hey, what's up?
First, I was hoping to hear a little bit more about the premise of your new show.
Okay.
And then second, I was thinking this morning about how the people at cons are always, going to the con thinking, what can I get today? What can I get? What's in it for me? And I was thinking, maybe we could do something for you. I know actors like accolades, so on behalf of the people of Phoenix, I wanted to present you with this zombie foot as a way of saying thank you for your work on The Walking Dead.
Oh, thank you, man. That's a great. Thanks, Jon. That's badass, man. Thank you. Right on, man. Phoenix is awesome. Where'd he go? Over there. Right on, man. Thank you, bro. The new show is called LA Noir, and it is about LA in the late 40s. I play a guy named Joe Teague, who is a Marine who fought on Guadalcanal, and he lost almost everyone in his unit. He's a gunnery sergeant. He really, really went through it. Saw all kinds of darkness. He comes back to LA, and LA at that time was totally overrun with the mob, and Bugsy Siegel and Mickey Cohen were just running rampant murders everywhere. It was a really, really dark time in LA, and you had a very corrupt police force. And so I played this this ex-Marine who's now a detective at the LAPD who sort of works on both sides of the law to create his own style of justice. But like I said, it's Frank Darabont, did Shawshank and the Green Mile. It is going to be a dark, badass show, and the same world as the video. I know there's a lot of fans of the video game here, and it's really cool, and it's based on a non-fiction book. So basically, what it is it's going to be all of these. Every character in it is real, except for Joe, except for this main guy, and basically, sort of like Forrest Gump was accidentally a part of all these things in history. This guy Joe is going to be put into all these very real historical situations, and a lot of mobsters, a lot of cops, a lot of pretty gnarly stuff. So I hope you guys dig it.
Hi, Jon. It's Lyric.
Hey, Lyric. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
My question is, if you were able to choose what character role to play in your next movie, what would it be and why?
Oh man. I want to play. You know, I'm a boxer. You know, I love boxing, and I really want to be in a boxing movie. I'd really love to do that. And I also I've been getting really into this comic, The Preacher. You guys know. But I don't know. You know, there's I'm really happy with this guy Joe Teague, this new guy that I'm doing in the TV show, and I'm happy with that. And it's kind of the really cool thing about what I get to do is I never know what I mean, it also sucks not knowing, you know, trying to get another job, but it's cool. You never know what's around the corner, and I think you gotta, as an actor, you gotta kind of embrace the ups and downs and know that something around the corner could be really, really cool. So, but thank you, Lyric. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, man. You have a wonderful day.
Any chance you're going to be back on The Walking Dead in flashbacks? Like stuff that we didn't see with Shane and Maury or Shane and Andrea after they were on the farm?
Shane and Andrea. Yeah, right. Yeah, you know, I really don't know. I mean, I really don't know. I would love to do it, and it's got. I don't know. You know, it's really not a question for me. I would love to do it. I think that, you know, they're really trying hard right now to. I believe that they're really trying hard to kind of get back on track with the comic, which I think is a good thing that the fans really want, you know, and I think that they need to they're introducing a lot of new characters this year, which people are really excited for, and I'm excited to see, you know, I think, you know, Michelle and the Governor, you know, like, it's gonna be badass, so I just feel like they've really got to spend their time kind of developing these new characters, rather than harp on old Shane, you know what I mean, and bring that back. Now down the road, you know, maybe that would work, but you know, it's like I said, you know, I'm doing this new show, but look, man, if they want me back, I'd go back in a second for sure. Yeah.
I'll be watching the new show.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Hello.
Hello.
There's a lot of parts of the show that I really love, and a lot of the characters too. But I'm sure there were moments where you were really frustrated, so I'd like to know what was the part you hated most about the show.
The part I hated most about the show?
Yes.
Oh man. What's that?
Dying.
Besides dying, yeah, I sucked. Yeah. Twice. Yeah. Why can't they keep track of their freaking kid? How did you find this out there? You know, it's weird. I know this sounds, and it sounds especially weird telling you this, but you know, the sex scenes are weird for me in this show. They're weird, you know, because we have to be very careful. It's funny because as far as violence goes on AMC, you can show whatever you want. You want to shoot a little girl in the head, blast away. But as far as like sex and nudity, you have to be very, very careful about what you're allowed to show and what you're not allowed to show.
Like when Andrea grabbed your crotch in the vehicle.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? But I'll tell you, that scene was way more graphic that, I mean, it got cut. You know, they had cameras inside the Hyundai. And I hated that. I hated my freaking car, man. I can finally say that now. The product placement that they made me have to drive that Hyundai. And I have no offense to Hyundai users or drivers, because it's a great automobile and I love driving it. But Shane could pick any car he wanted on that highway. And they had me pick a lime green Hyundai. That's what, I mean, there's these big ass freaking pickup trucks, and that's what he picked in a zombie apocalypse for product placement. You know what I mean? So I did not like that. I did not like my car. And I can finally say that now, which feels great. Hi.
I just want to say you're super handsome.
Oh boy. I don't feel that, but I've broken my nose 14 times. I feel like I'm the opposite.
It's not as bad as Owen Wilson's. His is like to the side.
Owen Wilson's?
Yeah.
Yeah, right on.
I read an article. You said that you, on the last day of shooting the last show, or the last episode of the last season, you hid in the woods and you watched everyone.
Yeah.
I want to know if anyone found out that you were watching.
Well, I guess anybody who read the article did.
Well,
I said that.
I mean, I don't know if you told anyone or they saw you, because you said that you were sad and you felt like an outsider at that point.
No, it's not even that I felt like an outsider. It's just that, you know, I shot my last scene, and it was so, you know, when I did the last scene, Rick stabbing me, Jeff DeMunn, who plays Dale, was up on it. He had already been killed, so he was up on his farm in New York. He came and surprised me, and was there for my last scene. The entire cast and crew stayed up all night long, and everybody was out there in that field to watch, and it meant the world to me. You know, you hear actors always say, "Oh, it was like a family. Everybody loved each other." I've worked on a bunch of things. It's not like that all the time. You know what I mean? And it really is that way at The Walking Dead. And I love those people. When I wrapped, I had to go to LA to do a talk show. When I got done, I came back to Georgia to come get all my stuff, and my dogs and all that. And I told everybody I'd come by set to say goodbye. And I ran into Sarah Wayne Callie's, and we walked to set together, which is about a 3-mile walk through the woods to get to the farm. And I saw everybody working, and I don't know that it's that I felt like an outsider. It was so cool to just kind of watch the operation go. I mean, the crew of this show, they're such badasses. I mean, everybody, sound, the cameramen, the grips, I mean, it's like, they're such badasses. They're in the woods, they're in it 100%. We all work with each other in a really awesome way, and I just didn't want to be the guy who was like walking on the set disrupting that in any way. So yeah, like the weirdo that I am, I just went out and sat in the woods where nobody could see me. I sat on a rock and just
I just like that you just sat randomly in the woods, and like then you were like, "Hey, I'm gonna leave now."
Yeah, no, I was there for like 2 hours. It was awesome. I watched and I loved, you know, I kind of had a silent goodbye to each of them. But yeah, I guess we've succeeded at making me be the weirdest guy.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
It's all good. It's all good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sweetie.
The last 5 minutes, so not everyone who's got a question is going to get their question.
You want to do? Let's do rapid fire. Want to do rapid fire?
Yeah.
So we get them all out. Let's do rapid.
I was wondering if you still hang out with the guys of the cast, even though you're not on the show anymore.
I absolutely do whenever I get a chance. Thank you, Sherriff. Yeah, right.
That hat rocks, by the way.
What's that?
You rock that hat.
Oh, thank you, bud. Right on.
So, that feeling that Shane got the guy, he felt he did the right thing, and then he was making a bond, and then he finally was out, Rick is alive. That feeling of getting caught, or that sick feeling.
Yeah.
I get that sick feeling when I get caught. I do the wrong thing, that's kind of fun, but when I get caught, I feel sick. I've also martial artist and been a boxer. The first time I stepped in a ring with a dude, because I was working the bag, I jabbed him straight in the face, and he didn't even blink. So that was like the first moving and one man around, I had that cold, sick feeling. Like,
did you hit him?
I hit him, I nailed him straight, but he didn't blink, he was more experienced than me.
Yeah.
So he's like, and I had that cold, sick feeling. Do you ever get that?
When I'm boxing?
Yeah.
No, man. I don't, man. You know, no. When I box, man, no. I mean, no, I don't. You get in that ring, man, you get, you know, that's why I have, you know, unbelievable respect for anybody in the fighting game. You know, it's like, you get in that ring, you made an agreement, you know. What's that?
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire! Yeah, no, I do not, brother. Rock and roll, man. Thank you.
Hello, thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
The scene, there's one in season 1 where you and Rick are in the car, and you were talking about the loneliness of Shane, and I thought the writing was excellent, and you were talking about you were looking for that girlfriend who would turn the light switch off. And for me, that really spoke volumes. That's what you were looking for. You were looking for what Rick has, and that you know what I mean. And my question is, was that totally scripted, or was any of that ad-libbed?
That was all totally scripted and very much cut down. That scene was a lot longer, but I totally agree with you. I don't think Shane knew that that's what he was looking for then, but I think that's exactly what he was looking for, is you know, a family and a wife and a kid to, you know, look at him like he you know, to take care of him.
Right, that's what I got.
Right on, I'm glad you did.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
I was wondering, is the Pacific what got you to be in all the other TV shows? Because that was what my favorite show you were.
Wow, you like the Pacific, huh? That's cool. Yeah, no, yeah, right on. You know, look, that was such an honor to be a part of that show, and the friends I made on that show are still, you know, my super close dear friends. I don't know. I think that, you know, you just keep going. You know, that was one of my first big gigs, but I don't think it had anything to do with getting me on The Walking Dead. But it made me some great friendships, you know. Thanks, bud. Thank you.
If you were in Lori's position, being pregnant and not knowing who the father was, what would you do?
If I were pregnant?
Yeah.
Wow, dude, really? I mean, you're trying to do rapid fire and you're just asking me to think about if I was pregnant. What would I do? I don't know, man. I've never thought about getting pregnant ever. You know what I mean? If my lady was pregnant in that situation, I'd do, you know, anything that I could do to keep her safe. 100%. Anything I could do to keep her safe.
Thank you.
Right on, brother.
Why do you think Shane didn't shoot Dale?
Rick?
No, the old guy when he was...
Dale?
Yeah.
That's not, Shane, you know, he's not, I don't think he's a cold-blooded psychopath. He only kills people if they're a risk to him or a risk to the people he loves. You know, I think that's the whole point with Shane. He's not some one note. You know, I never wanted him to be like the bad guy. You know, like that's not who he is. You know, Dale's no threat to him.
I know, but from my feeling, it felt like Shane wanted to shoot him, and when he was dying, it was like, here's your chance. Why didn't you take it?
Oh, you mean why didn't I put him out of his misery?
Yeah.
It's a good question. I don't know. I wanted to. But you know what? The thing about being an actor is you can only do what they write. You can't just be like, you know, I feel like shooting. It was you know, they wanted Daryl to do that, so. Good question. Oh, we'll wrap them out as fast as we can. Let's do it.
Just T-Dog do all day.
You're going to see a lot more than this here.
PlayStation.
That's my man. He is the man. He was, I totally agree. He was underutilized this year, and you're going to see a lot more of him next year. You know, that's my opinion. I think he's awesome.
If you were in a real zombie apocalypse, would you give a gun to Carl? Like
Yes.
you did in the show? You would?
Yes.
Excited.
Gun. I'd give you a gun if we were in a zombie apocalypse.
Can I film that?
Is Shane going to be in the video game?
I don't know. I hope so. I don't know.
Hey, I hate Carl in the show. Please tell me you would shoot him if he was a zombie.
If he was a zombie, I'd shoot any zombie. Right. Just wrapping him out. Is that cool? It's cool. I'm sorry. Quick.
Do you have any nightmares, or did you have a hard time transitioning back into real life?
I did sometimes have some nightmares.
I had a ton of nightmares after the first episode.
Right on. I'm sorry.
If there is a real zombie apocalypse and you could only choose one character to save, who would it be?
I have to save Lori because she got my kid, you know? flow high.
When you read the script, what made you think that I had to go do this and audition 6 times?
When I read the script, what made me, it was just so badass. It was such a badass script, and Frank's the man, and I love the world. It was just awesome. I knew I had to be in it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, bud. Last one.
How did your character feel about killing Andrew Lincoln's character?
How did I feel? Well, I didn't kill him.
But like, you wanted to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great question, man. I don't think he really did. I think he thought that he had to, but I don't think he could. I think that that's what the end was to me. A lot of people look at it differently, but I think, pulling the gun on him and walking up to him like that, I think, I don't think Shane was as heartless as Shane thought he could be at that moment, if that makes any sense. You guys, thank you so much for these words. You guys were, thank you. I'm the same. Thank you so much for having me.